Okay, number 19 is a really good problem to go over because we have 3 numbers that we are working with instead of just 2. And I know that this is the kind of problem that some of us really have a hard time with because we don't break them up into small pieces. So I'm always going to recommend that you start it out with only 2 numbers at a time. And then you take that other number and you just put it in this box and save it for later. So the first thing we need to do is deal with this addition problem right here. We are adding with different signs. Different signs. And in order to do that, we need to follow our steps that we've been doing. First thing is taking the absolute value. Then we do big minus small. And then we use the bigger sign. Okay, so taking absolute value. The absolute value of 6.49, let me make these bigger, is positive 6.59. The absolute value of negative 7.8 is positive 7.8. This one is bigger. This one is smaller. So when we do big minus small, I'm going to stack it. And I'm going to do 7.8 minus 6.59. And just like I did before, I am making sure that I'm stacking my decimal points so that they line up. And I'm going to make sure my answer has a decimal point in the same place. Okay, just like one of our other problems, I noticed that we have an empty space here. And when there's an empty space, we are going to just put a 0 there because we can add as many zeros as we want to the right side of the decimal point as we want, and it doesn't really change anything. But it does help to have the 0 there when you have a number down below like this 9. So we're going to add a 0. I'm going to get rid of these extra zeros because we don't really need those. But it's good to know that we can add zeros if we need to. I can't do 0 minus 9, so I'm going to borrow. 10 minus 9 is 1. 7 minus 5 is 2. 7 minus 6 is 1. Okay. Now I'm on to using the bigger sign. So my bigger absolute value was the one that had an absolute value of 7.8, and that was a negative number. So this needs to be negative 1.21. And remember that all we've done is what was in that yellow box in the original problem. So we need to take this number, negative 1.21, and then we need to take everything that was in that black box and bring it down because we're ready for it now. So I've got minus negative 2.41. This is a subtraction problem. So now what we need to do is we need to follow our steps for subtraction. So we're going to change subtraction to addition. Subtraction to addition, and then opposite. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. We're going to take our subtraction symbol and change it to addition. And then we're going to take this number and make it the opposite. And that is positive 2.41. This first number stays exactly the same. And now we are adding two numbers with different signs. And thankfully, we have those steps written already up here. So we're just going to follow those. The absolute value of negative 1.21 is positive 1.21. The absolute value of 2.41 is 2.41. This one is bigger. This one is smaller. So I'm going to do big minus small. I need to stack them. So 2.41 minus 1.21. And take my handy dandy highlighter. Make sure I stack everything. Now I can do my subtraction. So 1 minus 1 is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then I need to make sure I use the bigger sign. So the bigger absolute value was 2.41, and that went with the positive number in our addition problem. So our answer is just going to be positive 1.20.